You take those. I hate to do it, but we have a stat, and I don't want to give it up. Oh, bro. Oh. Okay, cool. Alright, I have tried to go into this courtyard several times. Looks like somebody was having a picnic there. Yep. Alright, cool. Anything else wants to kill me on the way here? Really appreciate it if nobody tried to ambush me. Oh, fuck. Catch this. Whew. My connection is being a bit of a dick now. Sorry, guys. Alright. Let's do this. Whew. Uh-oh. Damn it. Big guy over there. Too unassuming. Doesn't treasure shit. Max strength, max weapon seems to be doing quite nice. Hey, big boy. Stamina management was the bad on my end on that one. Alright. There's the echo we're looking for.
Madame, the Estates General brandish the threat of rebellion. There is plotting afoot. They are stirring up the populace. Worse, they are making pacts. A number of representatives of the nobility and the clergy have taken up the cause of the Third Estate. As for my army, there is not a man among them I can trust. That is why I have made new arrangements for you. From now on, the Swiss Guard will no longer be protecting you.
Then who will, my love?
Take a look for yourself. Be assured you are in sturdier hands.
Whatever do you mean? Isn't that Cloutier? Monsieur Vaucanson's dancing doll?
Appearances can be deceiving, mesdames. The Count has made extraordinary improvements to this automat.
Aegis, this is Her Majesty the Queen. You are now to serve her. Make sure no harm comes to her and obey the orders she will give you.
Including betray your husband.
I am at your service. Patolissa? He can speak.
Appropriate.
This makes no sense. This is sorcery.
Make no mistake, mesdames, it is science, which we owe to the work of the Count. And which will soon be made known to the entire world.
Womp womp womp. What? Oh, replacement lever. Fix this? Fast arms. Arm. Daily. I can't upgrade anything right now. No. Ah, close. Alright, we try again. That was just a rough start. Here we go. Interesting. That cloth animation. Alright, looks like we're just gonna have to mark here. Huh. I don't know why I keep trying to do that. Like, I think it is. Based on the way it was set up, yeah. And the music seems to say so. That's some final boss music if I've ever seen it. Or heard it, rather. You don't really usually see music. Come on. The game has suddenly stopped making attacks. I don't understand. Run, coward!
Oh, see how the Aegis turns against its master.
He's smiling too much while he's being stepped on there.
You are not my master, tyrant. You never were.
I am quite happy to concede this point, but what about the Count? Have you forgotten that he gave you life and whispered the order that animates you? Look how he runs, the coward. Do you understand what he has in mind? La pauvre enfant, sleeping so sweetly, she won't be dreaming for long now.
Croissant. Athenais! Don't move!
The time has come to set you free, Aegis. This whore's soul has poisoned your cogs for too long. Adieu, sad puppet.
No!
Auntie Devine, I don't want to die.
Athenais. The sun is rising. And you have slept for far too long. The beauty of this world longs for you. Just as you long for its light. For you are like the flowers that open in the morning. I know you, mon ami. We loved each other. Vous en souvient-il? You gave me your heart. So please, let me give you mine today. Vivez heureuse, Athénaïs. For it is happily that I leave this world.
Amazing Wi-Fi, though, considering how far away she was from this corpse.
Monsieur, we have the king. It is now up to us to wield his scepter. In this trying time, crucial decisions must be made without delay.
First and foremost, we must take back Paris.
And how do we do that, mon Dieu? There are automats everywhere, and they are constantly regenerated by their crimes.
We have the king. Cagliostro has fled, but he is leaving a trail of blood. I doubt he will survive his injuries. As a result, the automats are left to their own devices, with no one to give them orders and no reinforcements. And since I'm sure the Parisians will no longer venture out into the streets, the machines will soon have no more souls to harvest. Sooner or later they will no longer be able to move and, par la grâce de Dieu, will become inanimate objects again. It's a matter of days, weeks at most.
Mais ensuite, once peace has been restored, what of the kingdom?
This is indeed a crucial issue. Leaving the nation without a government would expose it to the greatest danger.
Worse, it would condemn it to civil war.
Eh bien quoi, monsieur? Can you not govern together?
Unfortunately, the disagreements that divide our assembly run far too deep. That which we can agree is that we have been given a chance to choose the person who shall succeed the tyrant.
I believe I am the person who is best suited to exercise power.
Shut up.
Of course, I will only hold office for as long as it takes to set up a new assembly and a government of the people. For the French will no longer tolerate a king. We can be sure of that.
Are you joking? What have you done that would convince us to let you take down the monarchy?
Answer, Monsieur de Robespierre. You have our full attention.
Monsieur, I rest my case.
Very well. We must now make our decision. I pray that each of us shall respect this decision and set aside our personal interests for the sake of peace and the common good. Who among you approves the appointment of Monsieur Maximilien de Robespierre?
Fitting, off with his head sort of situation. This is actually how Louis the 15th, 16th died, right? Not in a robot war that led to him being captured and murdered by government, but La Révolution, what?
Consul of the Republic.
Citoyen Louis de Bourbon, former King of France, in the name of the French people, in light of the innumerable crimes...
Oh man, that sound effect that they use for the crowd is
the National Convention,
rating.
an extraordinary court, have voted to sentence you to death. The sentence will be carried out on the hour. Now that justice has been done,
The nation is ready to hear your last words.
My loyal subjects, since you must lead a lamb to the altar, since you must offer a sacrifice to this new France that you intend to found, I will be that sacrifice. How dreadful this world is, where beauty is doomed to fade and flesh decays. I found no consolation.
Really just want this to end so I can do my sit-ups. Or my crunches.
Was giving our souls the gift of immortality beyond our mortal bodies. The Grim Reaper was my sworn enemy. Influenced by the most awful of men, I believed that the genius of machinery could overcome death itself. Alas, I have lost this fight, and am branded with a mark of murderer. Life, even more than the crown, was heavy for me to bear. I have suffered too long under the thumb of nature, which I despised. As a child, I saw my older brother die. I lost my father in the prime of his life, and then my mother, who was even younger. My beloved daughter did not live a year. As for my son, the first of my heirs, I unknowingly gave him to drink from a poisoned cup. I mourn the death of these poor souls.
Sorry, we can't hear you in the back there, bro.
Death will not unite us. Of this I am certain. For I, in my misery, have lost the support of my faith. So, executioner, lay me down on this board of Tues. I will sleep now. Sleep at last, and not to dream.
Oh. Hey, when you did this to me, it only, like, capped my max health. So what's the worst that can happen to you? Thank God they shut up. Oh, alright. I can do my workout, and then I have thoughts. And I'm going to share those thoughts right after I get back from the washroom. So let's talk Steelrising. Overall, I am not going to call this a bad game. It was absolutely the definition of fine in the world of Souls-likes. That's overall thing. There's going to be a lot that I'm going to say that's going to sound negative. Take to heart that I did enjoy the game experience. And that being, sometimes when you get a Souls-like, or a game that follows a lot of the design patterns that Dark Souls or its ilk follow, it's okay, like this game or Thymesia did, to simplify the system. Great. The max power ability was 20, the max stat was 20. You could easily get to your weapon to level 5, no problem, just by playing through the game like I did, not doing a whole lot of extra hunting around. The game was very linear, not a bad thing. Especially in the fact that there was ways that they were able to design the levels that worked with the jumping, with the dashing, with a lot of that. The stamina system worked. So, kind of lay it all out. This game feels pieced together from all the great things we know from Nioh, Dark Souls, Bloodborne. From Nioh, we get the stamina recovery system. This one, where Nioh says, hey, you can't get your max stamina, but some of what you used, if you hit this button at the right time, you get this much back, which is great, right? This game has a system that's closer to the Gears of War style active reload system, where you empty your stamina and then you have that split second to regain all your stamina. The only downside, of course, is that you get frost elemental buildup, which is fine if you're not fighting a frozen enemy. If you are fighting a frozen enemy, you just have to be careful. But frost is actually probably the easiest element to push aside. It takes from Bloodborne the fact that you can your heavy attack is really useful at staggering and dropping enemies. And of course, from Bloodborne, we have our base stamina system. And like a lot of the basics from it, the scaling, etc., whatnot. Now, class-wise, I played a character that had the option to have a block button. That is actually an option that other class or other weapons don't have. It very specifically came to the heavy weapon. Cool. Only real downside I found was that it felt really bad to use my normal attack. Because the way that enemies attack, they would attack, you'd have an opening, but then in the time that it took you to attack, they're ready to attack again. As a result, that caused me to use my heavy attack a lot so as to stagger them and stop that. Which is cool, but I don't know if that was intended design if you were supposed to be throwing more regular attacks. I had to lean into the heavy a lot in order to keep enemies from hitting me. Once I started to understand that system. Okay? Early game, I was definitely using the jumping heavy. Very, very potent, especially when you consider it in relation to Elden Ring. Very similar to Elden Ring, where the jumping heavy is one of the best attacks and really great for jumping into the attack to follow up with. The jumping heavy in this is almost broken in some combat. So, every enemy was very spongy and tanky, though. There weren't a lot of enemies that you could really quickly take out early in the game. It wasn't until late in the game that you were starting to take out enemies in 2 attacks. Like, by the end of it, I was max power and maxed out the my heavy weapon. It was still not one-shotting very much of anything without doing a charged heavy attack. So, anyway, that's kind of this is the combat system, and it was fine. The combat, when it comes to the combat in a game like this, just have to accept it. This is the combat system. Deal with it, like it or don't like it. And as far as like what the game had available to it, I didn't partake of the side missions, mostly because when I do my first playthroughs of a lot of these games, it's kind of go. I don't stop and do everything. I just kind of go through the game without distraction. I don't think that had a negative effect on me because, like I said, I had a lot of max stat, 2 max weapons or max level weapons going in to the final boss fight. So it wasn't necessary, and it didn't make the last fight, harder, like say a Dark Souls, where your challenge in the last boss is actually going to be reflective more on how much of the game that you've played. Okay, that is the baseline kind of idea of how I observed everything. The good is that it was solid system. I liked a lot of what they took from all the other games. A lot of the bad comes from, one of the things I mentioned in the combat is that your regular attack felt worthless. Because the way that timing attacks worked was fucking weird. It was hella weird. And as a result, I felt like it was almost mandatory to heavy attack once you've dodged an enemy attack as your counter attack. Again, this is how I felt. Maybe I'm playing it wrong. I don't know. Somebody tell me if you know better than I do. The sneaking was cool. You could get the backstabs, but the animation in this game was janky. And this is what leads me to my speculation. This is complete speculation. I don't know what happened. But when I look at this game, what I see is it looked like they were trying to build something. Their animation system said, we can't get this the way we want it. Fuck it, they're robots. And that actually worked for the way that the jankiness of anything moved, the way that there was a stuttery movement to the main character. But what ended up happening is, I don't know if anybody else caught it, I definitely caught it, there was not a lot of movement coming from humans. Like, they were very stiff, standing, talking, not going anywhere. Maybe the occasional stumble animation, but like, overall, it felt like they kind of started to build an animation system that went really choppy, and we're like, this would look good on robots, and went with that. But I don't know if it again, speculation. But this is what it felt like, and it was noticeable. It was very noticeable. This is not an overall bad thing. It's a noticeable element to the game. And again, this is a one playthrough look with no side missions. There was a lot of ability to go back on things, but not like forced backtracking. What I mean is, there's almost in every level I came across that breakable wall, but it wasn't until like 3/4 of the way through the game that I was able to use that for anything. That felt a little weird. And then when we got to the end game situation, it was like, when you go here, you can't go back. And when you go here, you can't go back. It was... I didn't feel compelled to really do anything else. But also, I just felt like those places were really weird. And also, one of them wasn't actually like that thing that said, hey, the second you go here, you can't go back. It was just that one part where it's like, you're not going to be able to revisit anything here. When you're done with here, you're actually going to be able to go backtrack and do all your side missions. I didn't understand that. Wasn't super clear until I was much later in the game, and I was like, oh, I could have just gone back. I panicked and just wanted to get through the game. Not an issue. Platforming in this game fucking sucked. I don't care if they introduced an air dash, and I don't care if I didn't know how to use the air dash. The platforming was fucking terrible in this game. Especially when you consider that there was particular situations where it was like, you miss this, you are fucked. There's no like possible extra catch. It's just like, you're done. You fucked this up, you're done. And like, there's situations where even the air dash was going to cut it fucking close. And that was rough. A lot of those particular places were incredibly rough. And there was no like, catch you on the grappling hook. There's no way out of them. And those were big feel bads. Yeah, so that was just a big thing. That janky moment with the Executioner was weird. So, really did join the finale of this game. Yeah, I'm actually just going over everything on the game right now. Like, we're done. We just finished it. So going over it, it wasn't... When people say this is a Souls-like, this is the next part. I'm not going to say this is a bad thing. It was not as hard as any other Souls-like that I've played. We saw that in my death count. Right? I think between all 3 or 4 streams that we did of this game, I maybe died 10 to 12 times in total. So if you come into this from other Souls-likes, it's going to seem easy. I don't know how that's going to go for people who've never played a Souls-like before. So I'm not going to say that this was, oh my god, this is a great way to introduce somebody who's never played it. Because so much of this felt very janky, I don't suggest that a new Souls-like player come into it. But this is for, like, if you do enjoy a good Souls-like, this is a good distractionary Souls-like. It's not a full-price game. I think I paid $40 even for my physical copy. It might be even cheaper on digital. I haven't looked at that. I mean, even sucking at Souls-like, you might actually find yourself better at this game once you understand the systems. But the systems are really weird, and they're not the same. Like, there's similarities, but there's so many differences. I don't know if my ending was different than, say, another ending I could have got. I don't know if I was punished for missing certain things. Because the cutscene after every end-level boss was dependent on how many of the echoes, those flashbacks that you caught in a level. And there's 2 levels that I didn't catch them. So I don't know if my ending sucked. I don't know if that was how I get a better ending, or if I just missed out on those cutscenes. If I missed out on those cutscenes, great. I didn't give a fuck. Like, the story was a lot of French people yelling at each other, and I was a robot. Why the fuck do I care, right? I understand that their motivations are there, and they're telling a political story, but I'm a robot fighting robots. You are politicians fighting your political war. Oh, he trapped me in the box. I know I got you out of the box. Be happy, go to the castle, go talk to everybody else, figure out what the fuck I need to do. I felt overlong at times. And that's not to say, I think it's just a disinterest in the story. That's not on the game. Angry baguette noise. Oui, monsieur. Anyway, that aside, this is the absolute definition of fine. I don't hate it. I don't think it's on the upper echelon of Souls-likes. I will play this one again. For sure, and I will do it doing all of the side missions. So that's got to say something. Though the next time, if I do 100% the game, that's going to be my last playthrough. For sure. It's not like, and it's definitely, I liked it way more than Lords of the Fallen. So, there's that. I could barely get in, like, I did not like Lords of the Fallen. I might give that game another try, but not under the pretense of Git Good or Git Fit, that's for sure. Because I just don't want to play it under those circumstances. Yeah, so that said, a solid game. Not the upper echelons, but fine. Play it if you like Souls-likes. If you don't like Souls-likes, don't play it. If you have a problem with janky animation, even if it is a robot, maybe skip it. I don't know. But yeah, so with that, I'm going to call the stream a little early today. To next Get Good or Get stream, next Get Good or Get Fit stream, which is going to be Thursday, I'm going to be starting a Sekiro run on the bike. That's going to be hard. I don't know if anybody watched my Thymesia playthrough. Thymesia is a game much like Sekiro where parries are very important and parry timing is very important. And when you're on the bike and you're trying to do things with your hands, it gets especially as well timed as that. So it's going to be a challenge. I'm going to work out a lot. I'm going to scream a lot. I love Sekiro. Don't get it twisted. So I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, Sekiro starts Thursday, but tomorrow is a chill stream. I'm going to be playing some more Demon's Souls. I think we might be able to actually come close to, if not completely finish, Demon's Souls on this one. Everybody have yourselves a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Chill stream, Demon's Souls. Later. I'm going to check if, if there's any of my friends out, and we might do a small raid. So, I'm going to go to the title screen. If you want to hang out, find out if we raid or not, whatever.